Well, hi everyone, Dr. Annette, Publishing Pusher. I hope you are doing wonderful on today because I am. And on this podcast, we always want to bring someone who is moving and shaking in the business world and got some things going on, but they've been through some things also. But I want you to recognize that we have these wonderful faces and businesses, but we had to go through some things to get even to this point, and might still be going through some things now because that's the reality of life. But I want to introduce to everyone today Andrea Merriman. How are you, Andrea?
Doing great, and super excited about being here.
Thank you so much. I listen, y'all know I'm just kind of like a down to earth girl, so I ain't trying to package it no special way. And when I was talking to Andrea, I was like, it seemed like I've seen you before. Your picture look, I looked at the picture and said, your picture looks so familiar to me. I'm going, and I kept saying, but I was like, I don't know if y'all have done this, but I'd be like, okay, Lord, you need to show me where I seen her at. So between the time that I looked at her picture and told her she looked familiar to getting to this podcast, I was reminded I had the opportunity to be close. I was on the first row, y'all. And she was up front and she was speaking. So I had the audacity to even tell her what she was wearing that day. Okay. So, I was really in tune. So I might not remember a name, but it's like a face. I seen them more than just over there. Personal. But Andrea has some great things that she is going to share with us, some life things that she's going to share with us as well. Andrea, tell us about your growing up. Like, are you a Southerner? Where did you start your roots at?
Well, interesting enough, I was born in Tennessee, in Nashville. And so I was there till I was in my 20s. And so then I moved to North Carolina. So I've been in North Carolina now because I'm a little more than 20. And so I, I've been in North Carolina a little bit longer, but my roots are still in Tennessee.
You sound like me. I'm a Virginia girl. I was born in Virginia, born and
Right.
bred in Virginia. I'm gonna always be a Virginia girl. I just live in South Carolina, okay?
That part.
But any chance I can get back to Virginia, oh yeah, I'm going. I'm going because it's just something to me about family and the
Right.
faces and places and sweet memories. I hope that you all have a family that you enjoy being around. I'm sure
Yeah,
Andrea does.
I do. And as a matter of fact, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I just went home to visit my mom. My mom is 96.
Oh, bless the Lord.
And so I went back to see her, and I am blessed enough to have people that I graduated school from that whenever I'm in town, like 10, 12 of us still get together.
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't know how old you are, but I'd be talking about the people I went to school and I was like, is it that many of them still living? Uh,
Right, that part. That's why I said, did you heard me say blessed enough, right? I had to go ahead and put that out there,
I had,
blessed enough.
I had to tell the girl, could you take me off your email? Because all I hear about is gloom and doom and somebody died. I don't need to know all of that. I don't need to know that. But you've been in North Carolina, and where are you located? If you don't mind saying, somebody might want to
Right
say,
outside,
yeah,
we're right outside the Charlotte area,
right
a little
outside.
town right outside of Charlotte.
One of my favorite places to go, people. I got a whole list of restaurants that I like to go to.
Well, we're gonna have to meet at one of them.
Oh, listen, you only 2 hours from me, girl. That's a half a hop, skip, and a jump.
Right.
But tell us, you've been in North Carolina. What are some of the things and what did you start doing when you first got to North Carolina in your early 20s?
I have children.
Okay.
I've had children, and but as far as career wise, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Um, when I came here, I thought, accounting, that type of thing, because that's what I went to school for. But I live in a small area and it was all factories. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back to school. What am I gonna do? I didn't know what I was gonna do. I liked playing with makeup. So somebody said, go to cosmetology school. And this is so funny. Just don't laugh, but just be prepared. I told my best friend, and we've been best friends since 10. Okay. And I told her I was going back to school and I was gonna learn to do hair. And she said, it got quiet. She said, cosmetology, that's doing hair, right? And I said, yeah, and it got quiet again. I said, what do you mean? She said, you don't even like combing your own hair. How you gonna but I did it. But I did it because I wanted a career or something that I could do and raise kids. Like I can set my own schedule. I have the freedom to move in and out. So that's what I did for about 20 years.
And what's interesting is people have to realize that once you start in a profession, doesn't necessarily mean that there's only like one thing that you're going to do in that profession.
Right.
Cosmetology encompasses, I know because I got a cosmetology license back in 1981. I did all of them hours and got my license. And even though I don't work in it, I don't do anything relative. But you know what? Every 2 years, I renew my license because I went to school.
Because you never know.
Because you never know. So you got your cosmetology license, and did you do any hair, or did you choose a different arena with it?
So I did. So I worked solely doing hair for about 4 years because I worked at a retail establishment. And then the office manager quit. And the store manager remembered I had an accounting degree. So I went into the office, I went into management. So for the next 15 years there, I worked in management, retail management, but I also worked another job doing hair. And so I still do it. So, and on top of that, then I left and have my cosmetology instructor license. So,
Ah, sweet. That I wanted, but didn't get a chance to. I started it, got married, and went to Iceland.
see. But and that worked out well too, because now in North Carolina, and I'm guessing other counties and states too, that you have to have continuing ed hours. So that segued me into one of the first companies that would give classes. So with that background, I started giving classes, so that kind of worked me into my entrepreneurial uh area. So it was a roundabout way to get there, but I got there. So that's what's kind of started me with training and classes and with the management pieces. I've been managing something since I was 19. So
Beautiful, beautiful. Now I know you have quite a few things that, as I say, a plethora of things going on, business wise, entrepreneurial, the kingdompreneur she is, everybody, as well as an author of many books. She'll talk about that. But tell us about your business progression, where you started, because some of us, I ain't gonna say most, let me rephrase it and say some of us are serial entrepreneurs. We're not just running one or two businesses. We might be running 3, 4, 5 businesses. And they say you got stream over here, stream over here, stream over there, and a stream over there. Talk to me, Andrea.
so and I think I started like most women selling Mary Kay. And I went on to I think I've done like Tupperware and different things just to kind of understand. But what that did was, what I finally realized with all these pieces is I liked helping women. And that was the one piece that I could agree that was part of it. So as I said, when I started cosmetology and I started training and started giving classes like that, that kind of getting me to understand people. And then with my, because most of my retail management places, so I went on to get my HR degree. So that kind of led me into more training, more workshops, and able to do that too. And then it just kind of set me in a space to, again, working with women, learning who they are. And then in 2014, when we went through a lot of trauma in my family, and so that piece kind of led me to working with domestic violence victims, those at risk, running programs in the local shelter, to now with my own nonprofit and my LLC, just putting all those pieces together. And it's really amazing how you look at where I started with the simple things, the multi-level marketing, learning management on this level, retail, customer service, to get to where I am now, to have a conglomerate of that life experience to put into my purpose.
I love that you exemplify what it means to start but not really know how you're gonna get over there. And
Right.
and just stay in the process and grab other processes to build. Tell me about, you have a organization, and it's not your name, it says Jennifer Merriman. Tell me about that program, and why is
So
the program so heartfelt for you?
So the Jennifer Merriman H.E.L.P program is a program that is geared toward helping women, youth, and those at risk for domestic violence. H.E.L.P actually stands for Hope, Empowerment, Life Skills, and Prevention Methods. And so when that program is really dear to me, because Jennifer was my daughter. She was 17 at the time. And her sister was married to an abusive man who actually invaded our home one Saturday night, and with the concept, it seemed, to murder everybody in the home. He did succeed in shooting Jennifer 5 times, and which took her life. And Jennifer, because of who she was and the relationship we had, one of the things she always told me was that she wanted to help youth from dysfunctional families. And that was just what she did. After she was gone, I started getting letters from youth that she had helped because she was in the Duke Tip program.
And she was just a youth herself.
And she was just a youth herself, but she was in the Duke Tip program, which is a program for academically and intellectually gifted kids. And one young man, it just stays on me that he said that, including himself, she had talked to at least 150 kids and talked to them about not completing suicide, and talked them into getting help and walked them through it. And I got more letters from them and instructors and teachers, and just a lot about what she was doing. So the main thing she wanted to do was help. So that's where we came up with the acronym for H.E.L.P. And as we trademarked it into that. So the program itself, what I did was, what I noticed as I was walking my daughter through the shelter and different things, is that there was no consolidated program in this country. Every shelter, every agency was doing a little bit here and a little bit there. And remember, I had gone through this training process, working with women, getting HR training. So it's like, God said, okay, you're going to need all this when you get here. And when you get here, you're not going to have the capacity to soak it all up. So I'm going to need to train you until you get here. So I was able to take that and create that program. And what I did was I looked at all the reasons people said I go back, and I gave a solution for it. So it is the only consolidated program in the country that has that many aspects of it, including what is domestic violence, how it affects the family. I take them through some women's health, resume writing, cooking classes. I have doctors come in. I have financial advisors come in. We even go into things about essential oils and emotional healing and just all those aspects. And one of the amazing things was, and I always come back, is one of the girls came in after about 2 weeks. We'd only been in there 2 weeks, and she said, Miss Andrea, and she said, I'm so glad I have this class. And I said, why? She said, I would have gone back. I said, why? She said, because my baby needed diapers. And one thing he did do was bring diapers every Friday. And something just that simple, and just understanding where people are in that space. And there's other things that happen, but to me, that was just so profound, because oftentimes we don't think of that. We think of being mothers, but just how important it is for our children to have simple things.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is one of the better aspects, just being able to walk through. I had one girl that had been gone for a while, and she came back, and she had this big old pocketbook, and she had her notebook in her pocketbook. She said she'd take it around and she show her friends if they got trouble, because they need to see this page right here. And I'm like, yes, you know. So that's why it's named after Jennifer, just so that I can carry. And the thing is, though, when I wanted to do was because she had helped youth. And it's interesting to me because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to put the program together for you. And God told me no. He said, I need to work with the women, because if I can't get the women to heal, they can't teach their children, because they can only teach what's inside of them.
That's real good. Well, I commend you, Andrea, that even in the midst of your trials, tribulation, pain, life strain, that you grabbed the vision to keep your daughter's legacy alive, to reach out to others, to empower others. And this is so important for us, because we all have moments, y'all, where we need somebody to touch us, to reach out to us, to show us the way, because we ain't always there. What do you say, Andrea?
So true, so true. I tell people, there's been many a times that I would rather be at home in my room somewhere with the lights out and the curtains down. But God is giving me a work to do.
And when there's a calling on your life, I mean, you ain't got to do it, but you ain't gonna have no peace either if you don't.
Right. You can try not to do it if you want to, but it ain't gonna go real good for you.
You also have an organization that trains servant leaders. Tell us about that organization.
So, and that is called FLR Global Institute, and that's where what happened was, so I started facilitating the program in 2015. And in 2019, I started thinking, okay, this is work. I now have evidence, based evidence that it works. And so I kind of rewrote it some in 2020, like 2 weeks before the country shut down. I started a cohort of coaches that are now trained to facilitate the program also.
Nice.
And so with that institute, I worked through coaching, letting them have, some of them have license, some of them work under my nonprofit, but just getting the message out, going to the program. My goal is to have it in all 50 states. Right now we're covering 7. And so just getting the word out. And I'm excited that this year we're actually going to be getting some of the information out in Africa. So
Sweet. Now, what type of trauma are we talking about in organizations, in businesses, when you speak of trauma?
So when I think trauma, or when I speak of trauma, I primarily work with domestic violence. But I say that because relationship trauma and domestic violence is not always intimate partner.
Yes.
And I think that that's what a lot of people don't understand. They don't understand that it's not an alcohol problem, it's not a drug problem, that it's a power and control issue. which means if you can show me a domestic violence victim, I can probably show you a really good girlfriend or family person that's also abusing that relationship. So, and then also it's usually accompanied with some sexual assault or, the emotional trauma. So just somewhere in that space where they have been abused emotionally, physically, financially. Um, and so I don't like boiling it down to just intimate partner relationships.
Okay. Well, I think it's commendable. Any way we can get support, it is important. Now, I mentioned that you have several books out here. And we can't talk about all of them, but I would like for you have one that is called Serving from the Kettle.
Yes.
Talk to us about this book. What inspired you to write this particular book? What was your motivation?
So, okay, so here it is. So often when I first started coaching and I got into this coaching and women's coaching arena, I often heard what's in my cup is for me, what comes out of my cup is for you, for you. You can't serve from an empty cup. And it just didn't hit me right. Something just didn't hit me right with that. Because first of all, if I need you to serve me something that if I come to your house and ask for water and you are drinking out of your cup and you say, let me pour a little bit more in there and just stick your cup under mine, my feelings gonna be hurt. It's just that concept, the thought of it bothered me. And so I said, okay, well, if I'm gonna serve somebody, I'm gonna serve them from the same place I get mine. And which is gonna be if it's tea, I'm gonna serve you from the kettle. And that's where we talk about. And so it's the understanding that I'm going to serve you, and my job is to empower you. If I'm going to empower you so that you can be the best part of you and heal in a holistic way, then I need to give you resources. So in my kettle, I'm going to give you the resources I have to help myself heal. I'm going to talk to you about my spiritual awareness and how I got there. I'm going to introduce you to people that can help you get where you want to go. And so the difference is I don't just want to give you what I have and you can get the remnants of it. I want you to be a whole person.
And listen, y'all, the Lord wants us to be whole too. So any resources that we can gravitate to, that we can delve into to help us to be better is critical. Now, one of the things about I believe talk to me, what do we consider a sister circle? What's the purpose of a sister circle?
Because I think that we need to have people around us that are truthful, that can have our backs, and that are able to say, not only am I going to straighten your crown per se, but I'm going to tell you if that crown don't look good. When you ask me to hold you accountable, I'm not going to say, well, Annette, you've worked so hard. Go ahead and sit down. When I understand that you need that fire at that space. And sometimes just being in the room, I was speaking to someone today. I said, you ever had that friend that you can just sit in a room and y'all are co-working and you never say anything, but you know that she's there? And if you reach out and you say, hey, can you read this paragraph? Can you look at this? And she says, okay, and y'all go back. That's what it is. And I tell people, I said, when I call you sister, understand that that's probably like the highest honor I can give you because my sisters are top. Like my two biological sisters are the best thing ever invented for me. And they have set the bar like super high. So for somebody to be in that space, they need to be on their game.
I listen, I can fully relate. You talk about building strategies. How important is it for us to have strategies? And how can those, how do we build them to that they will be ingrained in us so that we can move forward?
Well, when you start building them based on your core values and understanding first what your core values are, understanding your core
Something that
values.
you do is ensure in your process that people understand the core values. And then once you get that,
Right. And then you can build from that, set boundaries around that. And I tell people some boundaries need to be non-negotiable. And then that's when, because one of the first things I do in the program with individuals is start dream building. Because oftentimes when you're dealing with someone that have been through, whether it's pain and domestic violence or just pain, a friend breakup, someone died, just any type of, we build and start making decisions based around that pain. And we forget the dream. We start settling for it. We start thinking it's okay. So when you can start back dream building, understand what that means for you, and then start building where you want to go. And one of the things I tell people, especially that want to be advocates with women, advocating is not dictating. It's
mm,
taking someone from where they are to where they want to go and help and empower them again with the resources to make the decisions to get there.
that's good. Now, we as leaders are always connecting with people. And you connect with people, but you also connect with a lot of women in the different things that you do. How is there ever a struggle trying to get the women to come together, or is it just that there just seems to be such a need that they're just ready?
Sometimes it's been both. Now, I've walked into a room and God has let me, I felt, and I hear these are your people. So I know this is going to be an easier conversation with people. And then sometimes that I can go in and they're not quite sure because they have been let down a lot. And again, that's back to that dream building and getting them to I said everybody needs to have goals and they need to have some that they're willing to fight for. And oftentimes when you have women, they want these things, but they're not willing to fight for it. So it's just getting people back in the space and understanding that you're in there for them. I tell people you're leading somebody no matter what you're doing. They're either looking at you and saying, "Hey, that's what I want to be when I grow up," or they're looking at you and saying, "That's not what I ever want to be." So to as a leader, we need to be intentional looking for that's what I want to be conversation with people.
So leaders, one of the things that leaders are supposed to do within their organizations is to build community. So
Hmm.
in building community, how do you do that with the women? What are we guiding the women with so that they can understand community?
Well, and that's why I said is that voice, letting them understanding what that community needs. When I go into a community, every conversation when I speak is a different conversation because I need to hear from the people that are there. In this community, they may need red socks. And so we're going to strategize around how to get enough red socks. And I might go into another one and it's green. And so that's what I mean by community because everyone and what I do is I have my tea parties. Of course, if we're gonna start from the kettle, we're gonna have tea. And if we look at the history of tea parties, it goes back to women's suffrage movement was based around tea. They had 5 women come in, they had a conversation. This is what's happening to women. They went out and told some more, 50 people showed up, then they got some men involved, and now we can vote. And so it was all started with a cup of tea. So sitting women down, have a cup of tea or whatever they want to put in their cup, and really listening and having those conversations of what's needed in that area is a way that I feel is that you can build the strategies about building communities.
So it sounds like we have to be willing to start where we're at and just
Absolutely.
not despising small and humble beginnings.
No, no, no. Just start where we are, look at it, say, hey, this is what we have. But let's visualize. Let's again, let's dream about it. Let's go to God and ask him, because he's going to give us some visions that are way past what we can look at, and we'll just be willing to walk it out.
That's good. Now, when I'm thinking about many of the things that you're doing, looking and taking care of people is a great part of it. People looking at themselves. And you mentioned domestic violence. Would you say that is like the leading point in everything that you're doing?
It is. It is just healthy relationships. There's such a need.
You know, that those two words, healthy relationships. Relationships are so important for us, but making sure that we have the type that will build up and not tear down, I believe, is what you are directing people to understand.
Yes. And I even say in my program, my part of understanding red flags, so to speak. And I speak and I say, everybody in a relationship should bring their A game. I should come to this relationship making sure that you're the best that you can be. And you should expect, the same, that we continue to do that. And it's that balance of give and take.
Do you think from your experiences and things that the many that you have talked to, that the flags of violence and there's a word that I want that I can't think of, narcissism and different things are already shown, and maybe people just don't recognize that that's what they're looking at?
Absolutely. You know why? Because we as women are taught to start dating projects. See?
That's good. That's real good.
We can make an excuse for everything.
Mm.
They don't understand him like I do. Well, he reminds me of such and such. Well, he said that, and this is before it even gets to the abusive part. And I'll tell you, I remember when I first started on this speaking arena with domestic violence, I started listening to conversations, and this one girl was talking, and she was saying how she, she never saw it coming. They had dated for 5 years. They had been married. She never saw it coming. I said, she's not as in tune as she thinks she is. And I bided my time, and we had conversation over and over, and we were speaking, and she started talking. So I started telling her how, this little sign and maybe this. And then I just started seeing tears come down her face. And she said, oh my gosh, I remember this and I remember this. And I just thought that he just cared a lot about me. That's why I had to call all the time. That's why I had to do this. That's why I had to do that. I didn't recognize that as a sign.
Yeah, that's that. I love that. Sometimes people can go through things, but they don't want anybody to know what they've gone through. Their family
Right.
members could have gone through something traumatizing, but they don't, don't talk about it. They don't want
Right.
anybody to know. But if we hide the truth, it only, I believe, serves to create more of like situations.
Right. And now we're back to the women can't teach something because they haven't healed from their own.
Mm. Well, I think it's a dynamic work that you do. The heart that you have to move beyond your own hurt and be willing to reach out across vast areas to connect with other women, to give them the needed guidance. I mean, you know, I was coaching and pastoral counseling and all of that kind of stuff. And just to understand, I said, I'm not wearing that hat. No, I'm just dealing with people as I'm dealing with them. I don't want to get paid for none of that stuff no more. That's no. But I think I commend you. I commend you for stepping out and doing the work that you are doing. And I know for a great assurance that there are so many more that you are going to help on this journey. It's impossible for it not to be that way. I know that you have many books, and before we get ready to close, I want you to be able to tell people where they can get your resources and also how they can reach out to you. And if you know of a helpline that can also be shared here, please feel free to do that. And I'm kind of going to turn this over to you for a few minutes.
Uh-oh.
So I want you to give that information, but I want you to leave an empowering thought with the listeners.
Ooh, you just gave all of that to me, didn't you?
I know
So
you can handle it.
So first I will there is a domestic violence hotline, and that's 800-799-7233. And that's, you can call from anywhere in the United States and call, and someone to answer 24/7. My personal, if people that are interested to go through the H.E.L.P program and be a part of, whether they are victims, those at risk, or if they think that it's time for them to give back and they're wanting to be trained as a coach, they can go to jymhelpprogram.com. I make it easy. I'm easy. If they just want to follow me on social media, I'm on YouTube as my name, Andrea D. Merriman. I'm on social media as Harmony Coach Andrea. On all of them. I made it. I told you I'm simple. Just simple. Make it easy. If you Google Harmony Coach Andrea, or you Google my name, I show up. So those are the easy parts that I can be reached through. My books are on Amazon, but you can also go to either one of those sites that I said, and there's a link somewhere to purchase them. So you can do that. If you need to have a conversation and just tell me, hey, I need to have a conversation, you can go to leadercall.motherofharmony.vip. leadercall.motherofharmony.vip. So that's how might get in touch with me. And I leave you guys with one: no matter what you've been through and how you feel about it, it's okay. If you're feeling upset, if you're angry, if you're feeling that nobody's going to believe you, it's okay to feel that way, because you have been through what it takes to get to that emotion. But the question is this: is that how you want to feel? If it's not, then give me a call and let's walk through it.
Listen, everybody. Oh, this is powerful. This session is really powerful. And I know that it is going to help many of you that are listening. And even if it's not you, it's going to help you to share it with someone else. Andrea Merriman is available to assist you. If you are going through anything that she has addressed, please reach out to her. If you couldn't get everything she said, reach out to me. I will make sure that you get in touch with her, because we don't want any of our women to feel like they don't have a voice. We want to ensure that you get the needed information. Andrea shared it with you. Definitely follow her on her platforms, and I hope that you will join me again in the next session. Don't know who we're going to be talking to, but it'll be somebody that got something to tell you. Thank you so much, Andrea. I appreciate you
Thank
joining us
you.
today.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
everyone. We'll see you next time.